Good morning, everybody. How are you this morning? How you doing? Let me check to see if I actually am live. I don't see any indication. There it goes. Okay, now I know I'm talking to somebody besides myself. Good to see everybody this morning. Good to see everybody. And the burning question on everybody's mind this morning is, what the hell time is it? I don't like this. But the show must go on. I think it's 8:30. I'm pretty sure it's 8:30. But it sure as hell doesn't feel like 8:30. It feels like 9:30. But welcome everybody to Morning Coffee with Mitch. That'd be me. And as usual, drink it if you got it. And this morning I'm sporting a cup that mirrors my true feelings. Of course, I talk to myself. Sometimes I need expert advice. Goes right along with the sarcasm scheme, I think. So here we are, 58 people already, right off the bat. Wow, all these people. Didn't sleep in this morning, did you? Didn't sleep in this morning. I got up this morning. The clock said right around 5:30. And I don't usually sleep not a minute after 5:30. And this was the new clock. This was already reset by the internet. I said, wow, 5:30. Holy cow, I got a show to do, and I better hurry. I didn't realize I had an extra hour this morning. Good news was I didn't have to spend the first hour and a half of my day in total darkness. I only had to spend the first half hour of my day. And I went to bed last night according to my clock, so that was normal. I woke up this morning based on my circadian rhythms, which would have been 4:30 to 5 is when I usually start to wake up. And it's going to take going to bed based on this new clock probably for 3 or 4 days before the rest of it catches up and it starts to feel normal. And I just wish they would stop this stuff. I don't wish they would settle on daylight savings time. I'd rather have the light in the morning. But they're going to do what they're going to do. There's nothing we can do about it to influence it either way. So here we are. Here we are on a Sunday morning, and happy Sunday morning to everybody. And the chat this morning has been going nuts. People chatting pre-show. Unbelievable. And that only shows me that I wasn't the only one that had seen an extra hour this morning and nothing to do with it. Waiting for the actual day to start. So hopefully after a few days we will adjust to that, and things will get back to normal. And I like this much better. The sun is higher in the sky now at 8:30. You know it's daytime. I love it. So somebody else is awake and up with me. You know who is Ellen. So let me bring Ellen in and say good morning.
Good morning, Mitch.
Hello, morning. Ellen, a.k.a. Scooby.
Well, I still have that YouTube handle.
I know you do. And don't change it either, because nobody.
I can't now, or nobody will know who I am.
No, that's for sure.
I just stuck with it. But good morning, everyone in chat. It's great to see you. All the sun. It was nice that the sun was up already.
It was, wasn't it?
Started setting up.
And it was, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah. And you are right. The chat was hopping this morning. In fact,
my God, I couldn't believe it. And one of the things I did want to comment on, a couple of the people, I think Boyd was the first one in this morning. And I'm surprised he didn't. I actually posted the stream last night, and usually somebody wants to be first, so they chime in like 10:30 at night the night before. But Boyd, said 6:30 this morning, so he was the first one, and they spent God knows how much time testing and trying to figure out on different devices how to get
Yes.
somebody's name highlighted so when you reply to them it lights up, they see it highlighted on their screen. And the way that you do it on a computer is you type the at sign and you
Mhm.
type the first two letters of the person's name. So if it was Ellen, aka, or your handle is Scooby the dog, you would
Mhm.
type at SC, and then if there were more than one users logged into that chat, they would all pop up in a list, and then you move your mouse and you click the one you want to send it to, and
Mhm.
then you start typing, and then what happens is it types that whole user name for you exactly as the user says. Oh, this is interesting. I just there it was. For some reason, sometimes everything just disappears on my computer screen. I didn't go away, did I?
No,
Okay.
I
Yeah,
still
it's
see
just
you.
something about this computer. I'm using a computer that's not the most reliable thing. I told you, I build my whole outdoor studio out of leftover stuff that I don't normally use. And well,
Mhm.
there it did it again. Holy cow! So let me just look at this screen for a while. What the hell is going on there? I don't know. Oh, it's running an ad. Okay, and let me go back to this screen and see why. I don't know. At any rate, as long as I don't disappear, I keep going. I can live without looking at myself for a second until I minimize it and make it big again and it comes back. I have no idea why. Maybe I have the brightness set too high. Let me turn that down. You know, it wouldn't be a day without some kind of technical thing I needed to think about. Uh, but it is working great. It is working great.
Always
And,
something.
and interestingly enough, this morning, I actually set up a camera, my 360-degree camera, and
Oh,
actually filmed me what I go through every morning, putting all of this stuff together just so I can do this live stream, only to have to take it all apart and take it inside. Because you can't leave this stuff outside, nor would I want to. It gets damp out here at night. And I'm going to make a little video. I may get it out this afternoon. There's no rush on it, but basically on the behind the scenes of what it takes for us
oh.
to do this every morning, and we've been doing it 7 days a week. So,
Mhm.
for those of you, I don't expect it to go viral or anything, but for those of you interested in YouTube and what it takes to actually produce and do these types of YouTube videos that have even some aura of professionalism involved, um, it might be interesting to you. You
You're
might find
right.
you might find it interesting. So, and if you and, and if you're it's not your thing, it's not your thing. Don't watch it. But some people have asked me about it, and I thought, well,
Mhm.
I think it might be interesting for people to see. Oh yeah,
Oh,
I'm having a real good time with this screen disappearing
mhm.
on me all the time. But so be it. As long as I'm on the air,
Yeah, no, you're not disappearing to us.
no. And it might be a problem
That's
when I'm trying to
great.
keep up with the chat because if it keeps disappearing, I might have to keep reappearing it. But I don't know. I don't know why
Mhm.
it's doing it. Uh, I hate to spend the money. I hate to spend the money. I have another notebook, but it's not really suited really great for this. It doesn't have
Mhm.
the right compatibility with this mixer I'm using. I use it. It's a very powerful computer. I use it for editing. It was an
Mhm.
expensive notebook.
Mhm.
I just need to do this kind of thing. I just need a basic notebook, something in the $1,000 range. And if
Mhm.
this thing keeps screwing up on me, now the thing for me to do at this point, if I was using it, I would reboot, but I can't reboot this thing in the middle of a stream. That would be stupid. So I'll put
Mhm.
up with that today. I always put up with something, and we'll see. We'll see if it gets intolerable. I'll deal with that too. I may have to, at worst case, Ellen, I may have to tell you, hold down the fort
Ooh,
and
thank you.
because you won't if I disappear completely from the stream, you will still be there until I come back, as long as I don't
Okay.
close the stream or end the stream. So I may have to, we'll see. And then I
I
may
think
actually
it's
have to reboot my computer. I may actually have to reboot the computer and see if it goes away. Right now I can manage it, so no big deal. Well,
well,
thanks.
would miss you, but I think the chat and I
Oh,
would
I
get
think they would
through it
say, thank
fine.
God. I think they'd
We
say,
would.
thank God I thought he'd never go away.
No.
All right.
Hey,
I'm gonna put you up there in the penthouse. I like calling it the penthouse. I think
I
that's
like that too.
yeah, I think
I like that too.
that's more appropriate for you and your status. So up in the penthouse
Okay.
you go, and that leaves just me, and I'm gonna go back. I had a comment this morning where people said all the chat all the chat that happens before the stream actually goes live does not show in the replay. And that's absolutely true and perfectly understandable because YouTube is not recording anything until I hit the go live button. So, along with any video or anything that we might do before the stream, a little briefing chat that Ellen and I have for about 10 minutes before we start doing this, all of that stuff does not get memorialized. So, yes, all of those conversations that you guys have, I hate to tell you this, are pretty much private and confidential. Now, whether that unleashes topics that people were afraid to talk about because they might have been afraid somebody else might read them, we'll have to risk that. But I'm telling you that nothing you guys say before I go live can or will be held against you in a court of law. Okay? I thought that was an interesting take on that, but no, the chat replay starts when the stream goes live. So let me see what time I got. This is uh, it's just a, too much chat. I mean, there were pages and pages and pages of chats this morning. So I'm going to go back to Airs. Ellen Ellen was here 8:29, and then Ann Moorhen said hello Scooby at 8:30 was the first chat that happened at the time I went live. And I'll put her on the screen and say hi Ann, how you doing? And then Mark C comes in. Mark C, good morning folks. Satya's here. Good morning, 6:30 instead of 5:30. I like it. Yeah, you'll like it until you get readjusted to the new time, and then it'll be 5:30 again. But unfortunately, that's the way it is. Booby Goats is here, says good morning from Tennessee, and Jen S says good morning, everyone. And let me stop right here and remind you that if you have questions for me to answer, and the morning live stream questions have been great. They've been going great lately. Good questions. Questions you don't see asked on so many other question and answer channels that tend to focus on just individual health problems. But everything ranging from, overall, how do I stick to it, to even philosophical discussions about some things. Um, I love going into those places, and I hope that most people find them interesting. So type QQQ, QQQ in front of your question, and we get really wide, diverse kind of questions. The only question that I've never gotten, Ellen, never gotten. I've never got the question where people say, Mitch, how the hell can you be so handsome? I, now,
I am surprised. I
I
am.
am. It just
But
puzzles the hell out of me. But,
no.
you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Lori's Carnivore Story, good morning to you. How are you doing? Good to see you again. And William McCartney is here. And he tells us that here, Boyd Lamb checked in, laughing. Good to see you, Boyd. Jerry Voitush is here from Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, up there, Jacksonville. Good to see you. And here's somebody I haven't seen normally on the morning live streams, Michael Prager. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Raining here in Iowa this morning. So no bow hunting. Ah, that's what got you to stay home. Super. And here's somebody that's suffering from the same confusion that I am this morning. CB, hiya CB, how you doing in Alabama? It's 7:30. Where the hell am I? You left out the hell, but I can infer that. And Terry says 5:30 here. Yes, it would be. Papa Carnivore's here. Peter, I saw earlier you had said you were headed out for your walk, so I assume that you're back. You're back. And Rick from Miami, Charger Mopars chimed in. Good to see you. Always good to see you. Gordon Barlow, how you doing? It's 1:30 in the afternoon in the UK. I might not see the answer, but Ellen will. Would you tell us if you run on exactly the same daylight savings time schedules that we do here, and you change when we change, or you've got your own, and if you do, if it's wildly different, that'll give me a clue as to keeping track of these time changes all over the world, because we've got people from everywhere: South Africa, Australia, all over Europe, South America, Chile, and I can't believe everybody follows I know everybody tries to follow the United States dietary guidelines, which is, of course, a life-ending mistake, but I was wondering if everybody follows the daylight savings time guidelines. I'll tell you what I did last night. I got the whole stream up. I got the whole stream live. I've created the thumbnail. I posted the whole thing, and I took a look at it, and it said, join us tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning EDT. Eastern Daylight Time. I said, oh shit. I need to go in and edit everything, create another thumbnail, and change it to EST. And I did it. And as I was doing it, and it took me about 10 minutes to make all those changes. And as I was doing it, I said, I wonder if anybody'd really even notice. But I wanted to be accurate. So I did it for you. So welcome, Gordon. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for finding me here. And Sandy Blythe is here. I watched The Airport and the Airport 5. Love it. I'm telling you, I don't know what I started yesterday. I have revitalized, it seems, those airport movies. And I ended up watching all three of them yesterday. And I loved every one of them. And I'd seen every one of them probably multiple times, but they just don't make movies like that anymore. There wasn't a message, not a message of diversity, equality, or inclusion in that movie. It was just a movie about shit that happened. And all the old stars, most of them long gone. It was just entertaining and engrossing as hell. So the first one I watched, I told you yesterday, was the Airport 75, which is the one that Airplane was based on. I enjoyed the hell out of that. Then the next one YouTube fed me was the original Airport from 1970 with the young Charlton Heston in there. And then after that, up pops Airport 77. And I think that was the last one. I think they made maybe 3 of them. But if another one shows up, I got to tell you, I'm going to stop everything and watch that one too. Trucking Carnivore is here. Love that cup. I say that all the time. Yeah. And I've been saying that I've been saying basically that to a lot of people. People say, Mitch, you're talking to yourself again. I say, yeah, it's the only intelligent conversation I can find. Basically a variation on this theme. But it's a great cup, and I'm going to start a quest and a hunt for really cool coffee cups. And although I do get offers from a lot of people that want to send me stuff, they say, Mitch, can you send us your address? I really want to send you something. I can't give it out. That's just a YouTube thing. You can't. There's too many crazies in the world, too many people stalking, too many stories of people that have actually had to go so far as to change their name and move to get away from some of these lunatics and that's why I don't engage with any of them, because you don't want to make them mad. They're like the gremlins. The gremlins. You don't want to make them mad. They turn into monsters devoted to destroying your life. And one of the carnal rules of being, I guess, in any public thing, even as tiny as my little public exposure, You don't want to get these crazy. So when people say, "Can you send me? Can you send me? Can I have your address?" I have to say no. I'm sorry, and I tell why, and I thank them profusely for the offer. The only alternative I might have would be to go out and rent a PO box just for that purpose, but that would be a lot of work, and it would mean I'd have to check it all the time. And my post office is like 4 miles away, and I can't do that. So no, but anybody who's ever offered, thank you so much. But here's what you can do. If you guys want to try to find me some perfect coffee cups, and there are hundreds of them, send me the Amazon link. If you want to buy it for me, that's great. Send me the Amazon link and buy me a cup of coffee or two. And I'll buy the cup from Amazon. And you'll see when I use it on one of my live streams. And then I'll keep track of those things. And then if somebody does something nice like that, I can thank you. I can thank you profusely. I can say, here's a cup that was, that I got from so and so. But the only mechanism I can think of to actually get them without having to give out my address is to do it that way. So I'm open to that. I think that would be fabulous. Don't you think so, Ellen? Wouldn't that be a lot of fun?
That is a great idea. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
Anything that gets me gifts, I'm obviously for. And
mhm.
it's a sad commentary on the world we live in and the lunatics and trolls that are out there. That we have to act like huge movie stars trying to protect themselves from hordes of paparazzi invading their privacy every minute.
And I don't know, people in the chat, let me know what you think about this or if this is too hokey. What about like some kind of a coffee with Mitch cup or
Morning.
mug that people could purchase?
You mean if
Pictures.
I had looked into that, but my merch doesn't get a lot of play. You
Well,
don't hear
that's
me.
that's
You
too
don't hear me
much. I
pushing
don't
it
know.
all the
Well,
time.
let
You
us
don't hear me
know.
saying buy a T-shirt. Actually, two people bought T-shirts yesterday, and I think that was the first time in like 2 weeks anybody bought one. I don't push it. I don't put
Yeah,
that. It's
I
not.
don't know. It's
Yeah, but I think maybe a morning coffee with Mitch mug might be nice. Uh,
yeah. Well,
yeah,
you
that's
can
not a
let us
bad
know,
idea.
people, what you
Yeah,
think.
tell us what you think. Thanks, Ellen. Thank you. So, Trucking Carnivores had all this screen time up there. Thank you for that. And the next one that I haven't said hi to, Grandma Prepper's here. How you doing? Good to see you. I never do anything by the clock anymore. Well, that's great. Except when when you're gonna watch something on you like a live stream, you got to do that by the clock, or else you watch the replay, I suppose. Mama Bear's here. How you doing, Mama Bear? Good to see you. My dogs are still in the old time, so got to. And your dogs are going to stay on the old time for longer than you do, probably, because maybe they can read a clock, but they have to get used to the new timing of you taking them for a walk and you feeding them. But based on the sun, they'd stay with the sun forever if there weren't any outside influences. Peter says, gorgeous weather here in Florida. Yes, it is absolutely a beautiful day. A beautiful day. Anybody that I haven't said hi to? Valerie Thompson is here. How you doing? Says good morning, everyone. It's good to be here. I hope everyone had a good week. It was a great week. I want to stop right here and make a quick announcement. Um, Speaking of this week, this coming week, the next 2 or 3 days are probably going to be the most nerve-wracking, torturous days of our life until we get this election over and actually get some winner decided. I don't hold a lot of hope that that's actually going to happen on Tuesday. It's going to be very stressful. I told you yesterday how I've handled the stress. When I have an unknown coming up, when I have like so many of us face, let's say, you had a biopsy done. Could be deadly, maybe not. Our normal tendency is to worry ourselves to death. What I do, technique that I use in any one of those situations where there's an unknown of great significance, I mean, sometimes life-altering significance coming, and they make you wait for it. I immediately say, what's the best thing that could happen? What's the worst thing that could happen? And I define those. I define those. And then I focus on the worst thing that could happen and I say, what am I going to do if that happened? And I try to reconcile myself with that so that I know, well, I'm hoping for the best, but I'm ready to accept the worst if it happens, and this is what I'm going to do. And then I try to stop worrying so much because it's the unknowns of, well, what am I going to do if that happens? Well, try to decide that in advance. And sometimes dealing with the worst that could happen is not as bad. It's not always life and death. It's not as bad. And in this election, I've just said, I have no control over this. It's out of my hands. I did my part. Whatever happens will happen. Whatever happens, I'm going to still be here and I'm going to still be alive. And then I've convinced myself and looked back at my past and I said, you know what? I've been through worse than that. Worse than the worst that could happen. What's important to me, and I will deal with whatever happens that affects my life personally, like I've always had to deal, and so will everybody else. And I basically said, you know what, at this point, I'm not going to agonize over it. I'm going to hope for the best, the way I see the best. And I think I'm prepared to deal with the worst without ruining my life, without committing suicide, without leaving the country, without doing all the drastic things that people think. Oh, if this happens, I'm going to do this, that. So I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I don't even want to watch. I will not watch it on TV. I will not watch any more rallies. I won't watch any people making fun of this candidate or that candidate. I don't give a shit. I am out of it. I'm watching movies and keeping myself otherwise occupied. And Tuesday night, I'm doing a live stream. I don't know if Curry knew this when he planned the time, but I'm doing a live stream with Curry Man from Homestead Hell. And I think it's 7 o'clock Central Time. So that would make it, and that's Eastern Standard Time. That would make it 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 Central, and you know the rest. Uh, it's probably going to be a long one. It's going to be right when all the talking heads are on TV, all the people throwing their agendas out there. Too late for any of that propaganda to mean anything. It's going to be annoying. It's going to be stressful as hell, and you're going to learn nothing from it because the only thing at that point that matters is how much cheating went on, how dumb the American people really are, and what their priorities really are. And it's going to be what it's going to be. So I'm pretty sure that the two of us are going to try to, on that live stream, focus on the things that are important to us, regardless of who wins the election. Take our collective minds off of this shit show of an election that we have. And because that's exactly what it is. The worst of humanity is being exposed every minute on the mainstream media, social media, any media, this and that. I've never seen the human race behave so badly, lie so much. I don't want to say on both sides. I happen to think one side lies more than the other, but I'm giving everybody the benefit of the doubt. And I think that on Tuesday night, and I'll be posting. It'll be streamed on my channel.
Mm-hmm. And what time is that, Mitch?
It's going to be the same time as my normal Tuesday live stream, 8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m. Eastern. Okay, thank you.
And I'm going to be posting a couple posts, probably today, tomorrow, and Tuesday on my community tab with the thumbnail on it. And the thumbnail says something like brothers. Because Curry and I, this is the third time we've done this, and we did meet in person at the meetup here down. And I'm telling you, even though he's young enough to be my son, and even in some wild instances my grandson, we're like brothers in the way we think and our own experiences, and we just click, get along great. And I think the shortest live stream we did so far was well over an hour and a half. And I think this one's just going to, you don't plan on going long, but I think it's just going to go long. I think that it's going to be a great distraction from the mayhem on Tuesday night. And we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what kind of audience and see if people, those people that only go to, NASCAR races to see the crashes and destruction, that those people who only go to, oh wow, have I lost it? There it is. Okay, I got it back. My screen went black. It hung in there for a while. Um, those people that rubbernecked car accidents because they want to see who got hit, who got hurt. We'll see if the desire to watch carnage overpowers the desire to get away from it, and maybe do talk about some things that are useful. So I did want to get that out today, and before I forgot it, uh, I'm still looking for some new people to say hi to. I think we're about there. Gordon Barlow said hi, Ellen, and Sandy saw her already this morning. Michael Seeley's here. Mike Senior, how you doing? Father of United Carnivore. I'm sure that Michael's here. I may have missed him, but Mike, if you're here, United Carnivore, good morning to you. Turamir is here. Hey, Turamir Carnivore is in Utah. I put him in Idaho yesterday, but he's in Utah visiting, and he's been keeping in touch with us.
Yeah.
He's been keeping in touch with us, and he's in the States having a 2-week vacation, and God, that's going to be great. And you couldn't pick a more beautiful part of the country out there in the mountains to have it. So good to see you, and I'm flattered that you'll take your time during your vacation to keep in touch with us and chime in on the live stream. So really appreciate that. Susan Courtney, how you doing this morning? And who is this? This is oh, Moto J81, and sometimes the A looks like an O, and sometimes I call them Moto Joy 81. But either way, grand rising, everyone. It always is. It always is. Now here's one I hadn't seen before. Jackson Co. Good morning. Fall back. Yes. Yes, we all fell back. Polish Mike is here. Good morning, boss, and everyone else. Yes, sir. Good to see you, Mike. Thanks for that from New York City. James Ballou, I think is how you pronounce it. Ballou. Good morning, everyone, he says. And we're going to do this for another minute, and then we're going to get into that section of this little morning adventure that we try to answer some questions. So I'm hoping we've got a couple, or else I'm just going to have to wing it for a while. Oh, here's another granny. We have a lot of grannies in here. Grannies and mamas. Granny Boo, too. Good morning from rainy Oklahoma. Well, good morning to you. And Less Junk, More Health says good morning to me and Ellen. Couple more. I think I got Trucking Carnivore already, but in case I haven't. And Terry says, I had a dream I baked a Yorkshire pudding. Woke up to Jamie Oliver doing the baking. Ugh. Those aren't good dreams to have. Who else is here? Who else? Quick. Aunt B, I think I may have said hi to you already. Lad is here. Good morning. Lad asked me an interesting question the other day. Good to see you this morning. And quickly, I'm running through this, trying to glance somebody that I haven't said hi to. And I think I got everybody that's been in, and we're up to right now about almost 1:45 in the chat. So about 20 minutes ago. I've got everybody that was here up to about 20 minutes ago. So, Ellen, I see you're all ready. Mike unmuted. That agree.
Yes.
What do we got? What do inquiring minds want to know this morning?
Well, isn't this a coincidence? Our good friend Turamir wants to know, how come you are so handsome? And
I
how,
thought you.
and how,
I thought you'd never ask.
and how on earth can he achieve such
Oh
level
man.
of
Oh man.
awesomeness, and how can he copycat you for
Oh
his
man.
work?
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for that,
Turamir.
man. Thank you for that. You know I'm not going to answer that question, but you know it was a you know it was a joke
Well,
one.
I don't know. He sounds
But
kind of serious.
but thank you so much for that. And I was hoping somebody would do that. I was hoping somebody would do that. The neighbor let his dog out on the front porch. Good for him. And that little brat of a dog will
Oh,
probably yip away until they say, maybe we're being a little bit inconsiderate of our neighbors,
yes,
imposing
that
this yipping
yeah.
dog on them all the time.
Well, that is terrible. As much as I love dogs, that's not good.
Yeah, especially
It's
here
not
in my
good for the dog
community.
or the people.
Yeah, especially in my community, and especially when the front
Right.
door, their front door. Now,
It's-
I'm sitting in the back of my house. That's where my screen porch is. But
yeah.
most of the homes in here have a little screen porch right off the front door,
Mhm.
and it's just directly across from my screen porch.
Mhm.
I mean, I
Well,
look out the
mhm.
end door of my screen porch back there, and the first thing I see on the other side of my driveway is their screen porch where they put that. Now, they've been pretty good about it lately, but something
Mhm.
happened yesterday, and that dog was out there almost all day,
Oh,
just
that's terrible.
yipping
Yeah.
away. I'm not the kind of person that's going to run over there and say your dog's bothering me. I will not call anybody. I won't call the management. I won't complain. I won't do shit. I'll just live through it until it gets that be so regular that I have to go over there, and I'll confront them first about it. And that
Yeah.
usually never goes well because nobody wants people to. Those people are so friggin' inconsiderate
Right. But
that the last thing from their mind is somebody else's sensibilities and sanity with their little yippy noisemaker.
well,
So
and aside from that, if the dog is barking all day, something is wrong with the dog. The
right.
dog is distressed. I mean, it needs a walk. It needs to be cared for. It needs
Yes,
something.
and that's why I thought after late in the afternoon, it's
Yeah.
very unusual. Like it's already stopped, and I'm great friends with those people across the street.
Oh, you are. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and I know that and they're great people. And he's a sick guy, and you
mm,
remember the ambulance keeps showing up at his house,
no. Okay.
and he owns a little farm in Georgia, and he used to spend most of his time in Georgia. And that's where and they never had a dog, but now they got a dog because they got one in Georgia for some reason, and they
Mm,
have to bring it back when they come back here. And they've been here for weeks now since the last time they went to Georgia. So I keep waiting for him to go away. Uh, but when it was barking all day yesterday, I said to myself, I need to go over there just to check and see if there's really something wrong. But I knew that they would take it the wrong way. And
yeah.
I don't want to go there either. So I'm
They
going to
need
run.
to hire a dog walker. Mitch, maybe you could
Oh God, the
start a
last
little
thing
side
let
hustle
me
like
tell
I
you
do.
something. The last thing, because a dog walker in my community is required to have plastic gloves and carry a plastic bag and pick up the poop.
Oh,
Now, let me tell you, there are a few things in life that are on my,
too bad I'm not closer.
I would never, ever in
I
my
can pick
life
up the poop.
pick up dog shit. I mean, that is just one of those things that goes right over the limit of
Yeah, then,
what I think that I would never do.
yeah,
Now,
then
I
that.
imagine when you're in love with the little puppy, that's not a hard thing to do. But to pick up somebody else's dog shit for me
Mm,
would be such an intolerable thought. I can't do it. I can't do it.
well,
In fact, if there's an alien civilization out there, if you believe in UFOs and you believe that they're watching us, trying to figure out what this life is on the planet Earth, and they observe day to day, what they're going to see is a bunch of human beings walking behind animals picking up their shit, and they will conclude that the dogs are the masters and the humans
oh,
are the slaves picking up their shit. And I mean, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, not me. Listen, I had a hard enough time cleaning out the bird cage of a bird that I loved so much back when I had this
Yeah.
parrot. So, I mean,
Well, you
forget
know
that.
what, Mitch? You know what, Mitch? I think after that thought of the dog poop, you need a cigar.
Whoa, whoa. I wish I had a big bell here to ring. Whoa, yes. Thank you, Ellen. Yes, let's bring in a little cigar music. And it just so happens, what a coincidence. Can you imagine just the luck of the fact that I happen to have a cigar right here? Wow. What are the odds? About 100%, actually. Let me do this, so excuse me while I light my cigar. And Ellen, I'm going to turn the music down a little bit. And if you got something to say, you can chime right on in if you think you'd like to.
Okay.
Or not.
Okay. Well, that dog poop talk spurred quite a conversation. Everybody,
Did it really?
there are a lot of dogs, and I'm getting to know all the people in the dogs.
Oh, and I
there are
understand.
a lot of dogs listening.
I understand.
Our viewers do have dogs, so.
Yes, I understand. I understand the appeal. Both my children are hooked on dogs. My daughter, her life revolves around her two humongous doodles.
Yeah.
You know what a doodle is?
Oh,
doodle
absolutely. Doodles
across-
are very popular now. Everybody's got a doodle.
And but she not only has doodles, she has doodles the size of small ponies.
Oh, okay, big
These
doodle.
dogs are enormous.
Oh.
They come from evidently the large standard poodle.
Okay.
Was that part of the mix? Because there are smaller doodles, and the
Right.
reason that she has those is because they're kind of hypoallergenic. Those dogs, they don't get oily, they don't stink. They're a pain in the ass, especially when they're young. And but she lives by those dogs. I mean, I'm telling you, and there's nothing I can do about it. Whenever I go to visit her, I get completely attacked when I walk in. I mean, they start jumping on me, about to knock me over. I think they weigh more than I do. And my son's got a little Yorkie, and they had a big dog, but they love dogs. His wife loves dogs, and now they got like 3 cats too. So, and I had pets when I was married in my last marriage. She loved cats. We had 3 friggin' cats. What a nightmare! What a nightmare! How destructive they were in the house. They were always trying to mark their territory all over this beautiful white carpet that we had. Anyway, that's another. No, that's one of the reasons I don't have pets. I had pets. I started out when I was a kid. I had every kind of duckling, guinea pig, gerbil. I mean, no dogs or cats. My father, I've heard of my father's view of dogs. He used to call them walking flea circuses. That'll give you the. And look at the sun, people. Look at the sun.
Yes.
Look at the cinematic lighting that I'm getting from the side here. Even with the fill lights that I got. Yeah, wow. And the sun is shining right in the window, right on the side of my face. And I can feel it. It feels good.
Very dramatic. That just accentuates your handsomeness.
Okay, so speaking of handsome, I think we've passed that. Thank you, Turamir. What's the next question you got for me?
LAT asks, did you know you can get your kidney stones analyzed and see what caused them? Maybe your next urologist, and I know you've talked about this before.
Oh yeah, I've known that for years, and I've known what my kidney stones are. They're calcium oxalate stones. They're the most common kind of stones. What causes them is eating plants, because that's the only place to get oxalates, and eating those high oxalate plants that the so-called smart people tell you are the superfoods. These are the superfoods, my friends. Spinach, almonds, dark chocolate, legumes, some legumes. These are the superfoods. You need to not only eat them, you need to juice them to make sure you get 10 times the dose of what they call nutrients, what I call poison. And I used to do that because back, I was still low carb, but I still wanted to be healthy, and I still hadn't learned because nobody was talking back then about this, that it was those superfoods that are some of the biggest culprits in causing the bad health that we have. So yeah, thank you for that, Lat. But I'm well aware of there's basically four different kinds of kidney stones. The two least common are very rare and require some kind of like a genetic defect to happen. But the two most common stones, about 80% of the stones are uh, oxalate stones or phosphate. It's a calcium basic, calcium oxalate or calcium phosphate, and the other 20% of stones are formed from uric acid. So they just call them uric acid stones. The uric acid stones are much lighter in color, and you can pretty well tell by looking at the stone which one of those two it's most likely to be. Mine was dark brown to the point of almost being black unless you shined a real strong light on it. And anybody who's passed a bunch of uric acid stones will tell you they're much lighter, much lighter shade of brown. So yeah, I know that. And everybody telling me how not to get kidney stones right now is great advice, and I really appreciate it. But it's totally inapplicable to my personal situation. And the reason it doesn't apply to me anymore is because I stopped eating anything that causes kidney stones. I cannot form new kidney stones without eating the oxalates. My kidney stones, because I am oxalate dumping, I had 8 of them, started to get smaller. And because they started to get smaller and dissolve and go away, they started moving. And that's when I started passing them. But I had all of those kidney stones 10 years ago, and I've been carrying them around for all those years until I went on carnivore. And I tell people that if you have kidney stones, you don't need to worry about getting more kidney stones. If you go on carnivore, you're not going to get kidney stones. Carnivores do not get kidney stones unless it's one of the rare types caused by some genetic thing or something else, some imbalance of things. But generally, carnivores are not going to get kidney stones. And if they have kidney stones, their kidney stones are going to dissolve. And yeah, they may have to face what I just faced a few weeks ago and actually start to pass these things or deal with a urologist. Deal with a urologist who can give them some alternatives like lithotripsy, ultrasonic shocks to bust them up, or maybe even some surgery to go in and get them if they're that big, and some of them can get pretty big. So thanks for that, and it's a great question and it applies to a lot of people. But fortunately, my kidney stone forming days are over unless I decide to become a vegan and concentrate on spinach salads for the rest of my life. Not likely to happen.
Yes, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
No.
Okay. Well, Terry asked if you would be live streaming your podcast with Terry simultaneously, so I answered that for.
Yeah, I generally the last two times when I log in, the first thing that shows up on StreamYard when I log into that stream, and I may see if I can't set that up in advance. It says, "Do you want to simultaneously stream this on your channel?" Mm-hmm. And all I said was yes. And then StreamYard was smart enough. It knows who I am because I logged in. When I clicked the link, it logged in under my account. It knows that I too have a StreamYard account and live stream. Mm-hmm. So it basically just connects them. And what it does also, which is fun, it combines all the chats from both streams.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
Nice.
So, and the user count too. So, whereas like right now I have about 130 people watching, which is flattering as hell to me for a stream, early on a Sunday morning. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys. Thank you. It really means a lot to me. I mean, the fact that I haven't bored the crap out of people. Maybe it's because I come up with some outrageous stuff now and then. I think.
Yeah.
I can be wildly more outrageous than I let you guys see. But
we'll to the private community for that.
Yeah, we'll keep it toned down. So at any rate, excuse me a second. I have an itch. Okay. I'm not blowing my nose. I'm not picking my nose, everybody. Don't think, oh my God, what a gross guy. But sometimes you do get an itch. Sometimes I get a mustache hair right here that decides to turn around and tickle that, Anyway, it's
Oh,
just. Let me tell
yeah,
you, when you're as handsome as I am, sometimes you have to pay the price for it.
that's right.
All
Okay,
right, next question, if we have one.
trucking carnivore.
Who was that?
Trucking
Oh,
carnivore.
trucking carnivore. How you doing?
Would like to know, how do I cook a steak in an electric skillet without it turning out like shoe leather? That's the only option he has.
Oh, okay. Well,
Seven.
you need to. The only way to do that. The only way to do that is, and I assume you want to have it like medium rare. Okay, that's what I'm assuming. There's a couple ways to crust up the outside, get a really good sear on it, uh, and keep the inside from overcooking. Um, One of those ways that I found is to make sure that the steak is really not frozen, but really cold right out of the refrigerator. So the center is maybe 40 degrees, let's say, and you're looking for 130 degrees. You got to cook it a whole lot longer on each side to get that center up to the doneness that you want than you would if you started with a steak at room temperature, which might have been 75 or 80 degrees. So you can do more cooking on the outside without overcooking the steak if you start with a really, really cold steak. Second thing is knowing the temperature, the internal temperature is everything. It's the only thing that's important when you're just trying to cook a steak in a frying pan. You got to know the temperature. You can get a digital thermometer with a remote readout. It doesn't have to be wireless. You can get they're much. I have a couple of them on my Amazon website. You can get a couple of them that that are very inexpensive, and you just put the probe in there, and it has a little thing that sits next to your on your counter, and it tells you what the internal temperature. And you cook it until it gets to be 5 or 10 degrees before the internal temperature you want. So if you're looking for 130 degrees, you take the steak off the heat at 120 and you let it rest for a few minutes, and you'll notice that it continues to cook on the inside, and the temperature will come up to about 130. You'll have a perfect steak. A perfect steak. Another trick, and people will tell you not to do this when you're looking to get the perfect sear. They say don't ever flip it. But if you're trying to balance it and keep the steak right on the inside, you can turn it frequently so you don't overheat one side more than the other. And I think that'll do it. I think that would be the best advice I might have. And if the worst comes to worst, get yourself just a meat thermometer, one of those jackknife looking ones, and keep checking it a lot, because once that temperature starts to come up, it starts to accelerate. And you have to really watch it, or the next thing you know, you got shoe leather. Hope that answered that question for you. What do you think, Ellen?
Okay. Well, he will let us know if he needs any further information.
Okay.
Trucking, and Boyd wants to
Uh-oh.
know, what was your bird's name?
Lolita.
Lolita, that's right. That's great. I remember.
And I named her Lolita because if you all remember the movie Lolita was kind of a naughty little girl,
Of
and
course.
that's why I named her. I named her Lolita. Lolita. She was a Panama Amazon parrot that I raised from a lump of skin with 2 feet and a beak sticking out of it. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I still have Let's comment up there. Wow. You got to stop me, Ellen. If you notice that I haven't taken a comment down that's been up there for half the stream, point it out to me, because
Okay.
I don't notice those things. I'm looking at so much around. I hate that. And then I watch the replay and I yell at myself.
Okay.
Pay attention, dummy. Get rid of the comment after you're done talking about it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll,
Just
I'll,
something else that
I'll get
I need you to help me with.
I'll get on that. I tend to not
Yeah.
focus on that either, but it's a good. But I will now.
Well,
Okay.
and yeah, and you do focus on a lot, and doing these things. It's easy to have stuff go right by you because we're busy. We're busy. We're busy
Yeah.
doing this. Me, I'm busy lighting my cigar.
Yes. Chad is
No
busy.
music this time. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All
Get
right.
a hold.
What the hell? All right.
Yes, Jerry, I agree that.
I'm sorry. I don't want to disappoint you with no music. Yes.
Okay. I was just going to comment. Steve Studley, you ready for another question?
Oh, Steve Studley, how you doing?
Steve, I know. I'm so happy to see Steve here. He's not.
Yeah, good to see you, Steve. When I hear Studley, the first name that comes to I think of Dudley Do Right. Am I the only guy that? I wish my last name was Studley. I like that name.
And it would be an appropriate one. He
Yes.
wants to know if drinking LaCroix water is good.
Are you talking about the flavored stuff?
Oh, you know what? He didn't.
Because LaCroix has
right.
all kinds, and they have it in a can, and it's flavored stuff.
Right.
And
he didn't specify. Steve, can you, if you want to add that,
let me tell you something. My opinion on any drink. Why? It's not good for you. Maybe it's benign, but
no. Well, I think they do have plain sparkling water, so.
Well, yeah, but why would you buy it in a can?
Right. Yes.
Because aluminum cans are lined with plastic. All aluminum cans don't. The food does not touch the aluminum or the liquid. It's a plastic lined can. In this day and age when everybody's trying so hard to get away from plastics, we still buy bottled water. Even the San Pellegrino that I buy, the mineral water. But I'll tell you what's happening even with the San Pellegrino, the bubbly water.
Yeah.
I find when you see me take a bottle of San Pellegrino like this and open it up, the one thing missing is the fizz. And the reason there's no fizz is because this is water. This is not San Pellegrino water. I just reuse the bottle. They're great. They're great bottles. And I reuse the bottles and I fill them from my Brita water filter. So what I've got here, instead of some commercially produced thing that God knows what is in, I've got plain filtered ice water. And I've been reusing these bottles. And, as long as they stay cold, you're not going to get plastics leaching into it. I don't worry about that. And I don't leave them in there that long. I have a few of them I refill from the Brita pitcher, and I drink them. And it's water, and water is, I don't care what you're drinking, water is still the best thing to drink when you're thirsty. And my philosophy is, if you're not thirsty, you shouldn't really be drinking all that much, other than maybe the electrolytes. So that's my philosophy. I couldn't think of, and maybe there are, because I don't investigate that stuff. I don't care about that stuff. I don't care about how good for me Gatorade might be, or LaCroix might be, or any of these other way overpriced bullshit products that these companies come out and try to convince us they're good for us and they're healthy. The only thing that might be good about LaCroix, if it tastes sweet, it's got sweetener in it. You don't want that. If you don't need that. But if you have to have it, yeah, maybe LaCroix would be the best alternative for you if you're at a stage in your trying to quash the addiction that you still need to have that something sweet, a sweet drink of some sort. Maybe that's the best one. That may be possible. But that's kind of out of my wheelhouse for myself. And it has been for a long time, since the last time I drank a Diet Coke or Pepsi over 2 years ago. And I've gotten over it. I don't care. I don't want sweet taste. The sweetest tasting thing ever goes in my mouth is the least sweet toothpaste I could find that had baking powder in it or baking soda. Sorry, I hope that answers that question. And again, it's my opinion. I may be wrong on all counts. Maybe there's some super elixir of long life in that LaCroix water. Maybe there's some magical stuff coming from a magical spring somewhere, from a magical place on a magical planet. I don't know.
I don't know. And he did specify he was interested in the flavor the
Yeah,
flavor, the question,
yeah,
which you pretty much addressed.
yeah. None of that stuff ends well because it ends up just firing up your
Which,
addictions again and
yeah.
ruining all your efforts. And I know that because of the incredibly small success rate, long term success rate of virtually anybody that goes on virtually any kind of a diet, Ellen. Not just carnivore,
Right.
any kind of a diet. People fail. People fail. Do you think 1 out of 100 people that goes on their first diet, you think that's their last diet? You think that they go on their first diet and solve their problem for life? It never happens. I had to try 15 different diets before I finally discovered that you can't be on a diet. You have to change your lifestyle.
Right.
And it only took me 75 short years to figure that out. But thank goodness I figured it out. Okay, we got any more? It's God,
Okay.
it's 9:30
Yeah,
already.
I
Holy
know.
cow, but we'll do one more. We'll do one
Okay.
more.
Here's a little different question.
Oh,
David
that's great.
Parker.
Give me a different question at the end
Yes.
that's going to send me off on a 30-minute rant. Go ahead.
David Parker asks, when mosquito season comes to my area next spring, I'm thinking about experimenting with alternatives to chemical bug spray. Has anyone experimented with using animal fats like tallow? Do you have mosquitoes down there in Florida?
Yeah, I've seen one or two. Well, first of all, I have no possible way
Yeah.
of using an alternative because that truck comes up and down the street fogging on a regular basis down here in
Oh,
Florida, and he's not
yeah.
going to stop because I go, stop, don't fog around my house. I put out animal fat. So there's no way for me. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, that is so far out of my wheelhouse that of things that I even thought about or am interested in that I have no idea. I think I might have heard that it works, and it might not. It might be fun. I mean, I've seen some YouTube videos. Want to rid your house of mosquitoes? Use this. Use tallow. Use bacon grease. Whatever. And it may be that there's something in that some pheromone or something that just makes a mosquito think it's going to get laid if it goes and lands on that. I mean, I don't know that, and you can experiment with it or research people that actually have, and take their advice. It's just sometimes you just get a question that's not in your wheelhouse, and that one's not in mine. So thank you for the question, though. It's an interesting thought. It's a God. I must have a reverse mustache hair here. It's driving me crazy. Um, it's not something that I ever thought that I needed to research because I don't have a mosquito problem at my house because they spray in the community here, and nothing I can do to stop them if I wanted to, other than wear a gas mask. I know that some of those things aren't that great for you, but I think that if you just stay in the house when they spray, you'll be all right. And insecticides are everywhere. The insecticides are also manufactured by the very plants themselves to keep the mosquitoes from eating the plants. So you can't get away from that stuff. You can only try to avoid it if you can. All right, Ellen, I think that we
We
have some questions left over. Oh, look at this. Boyd says, thank goodness we don't have no-see-ums in Houston. Yeah, they have no-see-ums in Florida. And no-see-um, I don't know. I don't think that's a scientific name. I think that's a name that a kind of a slang vernacular thing that was invented because these buggers are so small you don't see them. Get it? No see them. Me no see them, little bug.
that
And
makes
when these tiny things are ferocious and they bite and their bites itch like crazy, they're annoying. They're worse than fleas. They're worse than fleas. So, and these no-see-ums, when they approach a screen enclosure, to them at their size, that little mesh square in the mesh, that little opening between the mesh of a screen enclosure, would be like the size of a two-car garage door to us. They could parade through that opening 10 abreast and still get through it. They're that small. So yeah, Boyd, you're absolutely right. They are the most annoying things. Now, fortunately, we haven't had them a lot. And one of these days, I'll tell you about what they call the love bug, and that's something if you live in Florida that you'd be really familiar with. So they have a bug called the love bug. We get it twice a year. We
Oh,
get it in May and we get it in November. And all they do from the instant they're born is have sex.
hmm.
In fact, it spawned the saying when you think about love bugs, fly united, because that's what they do. You never see one of them just flying by itself. They're always doing it with another love bug. And they're always splattering all over your car windshield and your bumper. And when they dry, they're almost they have an acidic thing. It ruins your paint jobs. Incredibly hard to get off.
Hmm.
Lot of damage. Car washes go nuts during the season, and they've been a plague. And they came out of a university laboratory studying something or other, and they genetically modified something, and out came the love bug. And ever since I can remember, I remember running into them 40 years ago, driving across the state of Florida, so thick that every 10 minutes you had to get out of your car with a snow scraper and scrape your windshield, or else you couldn't. It was just completely covered. You couldn't see anything outside the car. That's how thick they were. We used to spray Pam cooking spray all over the front of our car before we hit the road, because the Pam
Oh,
was
that's a
was
good idea.
oily and greasy, and it would at least keep them from sticking. And then you'd need to pressure wash it and clean them off as soon as you got where you were going, before they actually hardened. A nightmare. And we still get them. Some years they're so bad, and they love car exhaust fumes. They're attracted to car exhaust, something in car exhaust. So they congregate around the highways. And you ask anybody who's driven in Florida, certain times in May and September, those are the two seasons, and everybody knows what a love bug is. So I was going to tell you about it, but I did now. So that's enough. That's enough. We still got 118 people here. Wow. 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 Do I hear signs of life in your house, Ellen? Yes. Must be her father. Okay. She's talking to her father, and I'm talking to you. So when we get Ellen's
Extra,
attention
extra
back,
holy.
oh, that's okay. Is that your dad?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh, okay.
He was just heading out. I thought I was muted. So I was
Oh, no,
saying,
you were muted, but I saw your attention, and I heard it. I
yes,
heard a little bit first, and I said I think that must
yes.
be her father.
I
So
muted myself
okay, yeah, because
temporarily. Okay.
we've never he's even never
I
even
know. I
come up.
told him maybe he can come on sometime, but he's
Yeah, I'd
never.
love to meet the guy.
Yeah,
Sure, sure.
we'll,
Dad of
we'll
Ellen.
see. Okay.
Okay. Listen, let me bring you back in, and you can say a quick goodbye to the folks.
Okay.
I
Wow,
don't
that
think I
went
have it.
fast as usual, didn't it?
Yeah, it went too fast.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's okay to run over 5 or 10 minutes. That's
Yeah.
not so bad. Like I
Okay.
say,
Well, thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm so glad you were here. Thanks for all the great questions and discussion, and have a great day.
thank you, Ellen. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Monday morning, as usual. And thank you all for coming. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm going to put on a little exit music. That sun feels so good. I might have to go out there and stand in it a little while. Give you a minute or two to say goodbye to each other while I have some sips of my what's become relatively cold coffee, but still tastes good. That's good. And I think I'm settling into a ritual here while people are heading out for the day. And I do this to keep the chat alive a little longer so people can put in their last entries and say goodbye before it shuts down when I end the stream. So, with all that happening on a Sunday morning where none of us knew what the hell time it was and we were all screwed up, thank you all for coming so much. Appreciate you being here, both Ellen and I. And can't think of anything else but to tell you to take the rest of the day off. and eat meat.